All right, my friend. Well, we're live right now.
Yeah.
Live. My friend Alex Monaco. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
What up, Ryan? Excited to be here, man. Just, getting through this world we're living in one day at a time, 1 hour at a time.
Dude, it's crazy, right? Crazy. So, let's let everyone know we're live, where to find us, then we're going to have a fun conversation here tonight. So let me see. Yep, there we are. Good, good.
Let's
Retweet
get
that.
into it. I'm ready.
It's weird doing live cuz you kind of have to, ease into it a little bit. We're used to recording just audio, so it's a little different.
This is true.
So, all right, cool. Let me give you a little tag here.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. There can be some delays in the old. Here we go. I always forget you have the underscore.
Dude, I have two underscores. I apologize.
Is that just
It's
because there's a
it's
lot of Alex Monicos out there?
that's what I'm saying. I put in my request. The guy that has my Instagram handle, no underscore, is not using.
Ah, and he won't give it to you, huh? Won't give it up.
I messaged him a couple of years ago. I'm telling you, Ryan. It's driving me nuts. It's part of why I don't have a haircut.
Oh man. Well, I'm talking to Alex Monaco, host of the Sports Radio Recap podcast, right here on Believe with me. You do a bunch of other stuff. What else do you do out there, Alex? I know you do a bunch of stuff.
Dude, I'm out there just in the world of sports broadcasting all the way I can, my friend. I'm doing a part of a sports gambling men's lifestyle show with the MGM, with a good buddy of mine who's a headlining comic, Brett Ernst. Javon Curse is on it, and former VP of Racing Sports at MGM. This year we did the podcast version, so yeah, we're doing a sports gambling show. So I'm entrenched in that world a little bit, and do a bunch of interviews with athletes. Stoked to meet you and Alex and the rest of the
The
squad.
Believe gang, yeah.
And dude,
What do you guys?
Ron's the man for bringing us all together.
That's right. That's right. We'll get to that in a second. But so, what do you guys for that show? Since there's not a lot of sports to bet on, do you still have gambling content?
Well, actually, it's just a football show,
Okay, so it's
Ryan.
on.
So it's a September to February thing, but at the moment we're off. So I'm focused on sports radio recap. Just right now, stirring the pot as much as I can on the old Twitter bird there with no sports going on. This kind of is our community right now.
Yeah,
More one up.
that's right. Yeah, I was in we were in Miami for the Super Bowl, and I'm sitting at the table setting up my station there, getting the podcast equipment up, and Alex comes roaring in from behind. Introduction. He's now part of the Believe gang. So happy to have you, brother. Glad you're here, and happy to talk some Chargers football with you tonight.
Very excited to
Yeah.
be here, and equally as excited to talk some Chargers football. I'm a San Diego born and raised individual, still in recovery as
Yeah.
a fan.
Well,
And yes, I have spoken my mind quite a bit this week about the Chargers, and one Dean Spanos is driving me nuts.
yes, which we're gonna get to, and I always talk to, now that I do LA football, and the Chargers are, much to your probably chagrin, I'm sure they are part of Los Angeles now, part of LA football, but there seems to be a divide of Chargers fans or Chargers faithful or whatever you want to call them. There's a San Diego contingent that a lot of you are more spiteful than fans. You still have a soft spot there, but it's more of a love hate. And then there's the new LA fans that are not fully adopted the Chargers, but they're accepting them. They're kind of growing to like them. The new logo release, which people are like, oh, this is kind of cool. What's this new thing? But what's it like being that love hate San Diego Chargers fan?
I mean, it's toxic, Ryan. I that's the it's like an X that won't go away that keeps popping up. I mean, I want to like them in LA. I'm trying,
Yeah,
but
you live in LA now.
I'm a San Diego guy, and that's what's hysterical. And I got some buddies that even make jokes like, "Well, you went to LA for more opportunity."
Yeah,
I go, "Yeah, but nobody cried when I decided to go up the 5 freeway. No one shed a tear.
maybe mom and dad
Right?
did,
Like,
but
well, nah, they're happy to put 125 miles between us. I'm a lot to handle. I'm pretty loud, but it's very much divided. Scott will tell you that, of course. I'm personally, now that Rivers is gone, it really is a new chapter. I think there was, to your point, there's some particularly divided San Diego fans because Rivers meant so much
Mm-hmm.
to San Diego. And we've never won a championship. At least,
Yeah.
we went to the in terms of the NFL, we went to
The
the
AFL
Super
championship.
Bowl against we went to the Super Bowl against the Niners and got routed. In fact, don't know if this is just um, a rumor, but I was told, I don't know if it was Jerry Rice got mad at Dion the night before because Dion was going to go out the night before the Super Bowl against the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was, dude, we're playing the Chargers.
Oh, that's painful. That's like, it reminds me. So I'm a life. I won't get into this, but I'm a lifelong Broncos fan, which is so strange now covering the Chargers and the Rams here in LA. But there's a scene that was actually caught on video during the Broncos Packers Super Bowl, the first one the Broncos won in their franchise history, and it's
In San Diego.
in San Diego at Qualcomm, exactly. But I want to say it was Darren Sharper, I think who it was, safety for the Packers at the time. I'm pretty sure it was him. And the Broncos are winning at this point, and the cameras are on him, and he comes out, and this is back when the Colts, pre-Manning, when they were awful. And he's like, we're playing the Indianapolis Colts right now. Like, we're embarrassing ourselves. What are we doing out there? How are we losing to the Indianapolis Colts? Keeps repeating it over, and obviously, the rest is history. Broncos end up winning. But kind of a similar Dion situation, but obviously they took care of business, I guess.
Well, you got to grow up with a winning culture, a great football culture, and a team. Pat Bold, it's great ownership. It's a well-run team. I don't like the Broncos because they're good.
Yeah,
and they're in the AFC West. You don't like anybody in the AFC West. I mean, you have to wrap your arms around the Chargers a little bit. You don't like the Raiders or the Chiefs. You know how it is.
of course. Well, the Chiefs
better
are
than that.
enemy number one. Chiefs are enemy number one, especially because they just won the Super Bowl. So, but let's get to the main point and the main topic I want to get to. Me and you are both on this new platform called Cited. Shout out Scott Kaplan, CEO of Cited. It's a great little debate platform. Make sure all those listening out there check it out, cited.co, where you basically post some debates and you can just go back and forth with sports fans or anything really. It's not just sports related. Obviously, what we do is more sports related, but I posted a debate on there about a week ago saying the Chargers were winners for not getting Tom Brady. That was my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me there. So before we get to Cam Newton, which we'll get to, I want to know your thoughts on that. Were you wanting Tom Brady? And there's two sides of this, obviously. There's the football side and there's the PR side. So I'll let you address both, but did you want to see Tom Brady in the powder blue?
I did, Ryan. And if he did, I might have just been back like that. I mean, because I love Brady. I love Brady as the competitor, and I personally think I'm the Brady over Belichick guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. I think Brady, you had to have your leader buy into the Belichick system to have that kind of success, and he went above and beyond. So to take that to the LA, I almost said San Diego, the LA Charger culture, and who's never won anything, and he would have turned him upside down. I am of the belief the LA Chargers, minus the quarterback position, are a top 3 NFL roster. I think they're absolutely stacked. They got 2 of everything, you could argue, and they're ready to win now. So I was very upset. From a PR standpoint, I thought it was spot on. I actually thought once he released a few weeks ago or even a couple months ago, he has a production company. I go, this is LeBron all over again. Maybe even calls LeBron. But Brady, even though he's a Cali guy, NorCal guy, he's not a Hollywood guy. I mean, he looks like he's a Hollywood guy. He's not a Hollywood guy.
Yeah.
So I personally think he went in probably open-minded to both teams. The money was the same, so I would imagine you are going in open-minded. But how do you leave a meeting with Arians, Tom Moore, and Byron Leftwich and look at those weapons and not want to say, although I never thought I would live in Tampa Bay, this is a team that I could probably take the distance.
Yeah. Tampa Bay is
I did want to see him there, but
Yeah. I was torn. I mean, I shouldn't say torn because I never really was for Brady coming here, and here's my reason why. I thought for me it wasn't a upgrade over Phillip Rivers. Obviously, they decided to move on from Phillip Rivers, so where I bring in a guy,
not an upgrade.
I don't think he was an upgrade. Look at last year. I think Brady was
He won 2 of the last 3. See, I think it's recency bias. I think if they beat Tennessee, this is how subtle I think this narrative all changed. Fitzpatrick wins week 17, bumps the Pats from the 2 seed to now playing the wild card. They now got to play Tennessee. They were not prepared to play that game. They get bounced in the first as opposed to automatically being at home in the second. After a bye, you give Belichick 2 weeks. So my point is, I think the guy's got 2 or 3 years left in the tank. And here's a little caveat for you, stat. Second, Skip Bayless said this morning, in deep ball accuracy last year at 41%. The guy can throw the long ball. He's getting disrespected left and right.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, behind a great offensive line and a scheme that kind of just builds that long ball up because of the slow play, short passes all game.
So okay, so is this more about you? You think that highly of Rivers, or do you think that lowly of Brady? Because Rivers looked like he was done last year. Brady won 12 games.
Yeah, very true.
Or was it 11 games? Was it 11?
Yeah, 11 or 12, something like that. They're still the first seed in their division. But I just, when you look at the play on the field and you look at the production, yes, you see the wins and losses are very different. But I thought Phillip Rivers was a guy that, yes, it looks like he's becoming to be on his back nine. But a lot of those games, he was just forcing things so badly, trying to win games for this Chargers team when they were in every game. I mean, I'm sure you saw the stat. They had one game in the entire year where they lost by more than one possession.
Yeah.
One game.
I still think about that Lions game.
Yeah.
I still think about that.
Lions game, Chiefs game. There's a lot of them. So Rivers, with the gunslinger mentality, was just trying to force things. It's going to hurt his statistics. It's going to hurt the win and loss column. Whereas Brady has never done that in his career, and that's what I'll give him credit for, as he should. He doesn't force things. He let things come to him. He picks defenses apart slowly and methodically, and when the time is right, that's when he strikes with the long ball, as you alluded to. So I'm not saying Brady's a bad quarterback right now. I just don't think with the way this offense is built that he would necessarily be a huge upgrade for what Anthony Lynn wants to do, for what Shane Steichen wants to do. I don't think he necessarily fits the mold, and we'd see a lot of the same as what we saw in Phillip Rivers. So from a football standpoint, that was my reason.
I can get behind that a little. I don't think Anthony Lynn was. Yeah, he was not gonna sign on to a former running back coach for his last 2 years. He's gonna go with a guy that took Kurt Warner to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. They coach Peyton Manning and did all those guys.
Coach Peyton Manning comes from the history. I mean, that is interesting. I mean, so where do you see Brady going with the Bucs? How far this year?
Well, everyone keeps saying.
Do you like the fit?
I like the fit. As you just said, with Bruce Arians, what he's being able to do with quarterbacks his entire career. I mean, he's coached Ben Roethlisberger, coached Peyton Manning, obviously Kurt Warner. He's done great things with Carson Palmer. Like, the guy's done number of good things throughout his career, and Andrew Luck for a little bit. So he's going to get a lot out of Brady, and Brady has arguably never had the weapons he now has. I mean, that's very debatable. He had some good weapons in New England, but obviously with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and the tight ends they have down there. So, I mean, I think they could do things. I think what's going to be fun is now we get to see him and Drew Brees go at it twice a year.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that.
That Super Bowl since Nom. Now we get them twice
a year. So
I think they're playing each other 3 times this year, baby. You heard it here first.
There you go. So
no, but look, bringing it back to the Chargers, though, Ryan, I think that speaks more to the Chargers. What a phenomenal, if you're going to move off of Rivers, what a phenomenal time with so many options of veteran guys to bring in. Here we are looking at Tyrod Taylor. And look, it may sound like I hate Tyrod Taylor. Serviceable backup, consummate professional. It's why he's still in the league. It's why he got a 2-year deal. That's pretty lucrative for a guy that's only thrown for over 3,000 yards once, I believe. It's mind-boggling, man. We can get into it, but yeah, Chargers are just their front office.
So that leads perfectly into now the next part we want to get to. So Cam Newton obviously became available basically the middle of last season, when he was getting healthier, they committed to a different quarterback there. And then they, at the end of the year, basically said, he's now trade bait. At the time, the Chargers said, we're not interested in trading for him. Now he's a free agent. I know you've been pounding the table for a couple weeks now. You have a debate on Sided about it. Bring Cam Newton. He's going to fill seats. He's good for the offense. He fits. Makes total sense. What's your pitch to the Chargers for Cam Newton?
I mean, goodness, Ryan, this is a business. This is big business, my friend. This is over a $10 billion league annually we're talking about. You got a team that's ready to win now in one of the top, LA sports is a top 5 sports market in the country. Correct?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Definitely.
It's not Boston, it's not New York, it's not Chicago in terms of pride, but it's still enormous.
Yeah.
My thinking is this: there's, we look at the world now, right? Polarizing people, just they're a draw for better or for worse. Look at McGregor. Phenomenal example. Cam Newton is one of, I'm gonna say maybe there's probably 15 incredible talents at quarterback right now in the league, and there's maybe 5 that are polarizing. And when I say polarizing, I mean they walk, they talk, you gravitate towards them. And I know Cam has come off as a me guy to some degree with the press conference stuff and how he handled himself after the Super Bowl. I get it. I actually haven't been an enormous Cam guy. I'm looking at this 3 steps ahead, saying, all right, I've lived in LA 4 or 5 years now. I've been a Laker fan my whole life. I rooted against the Dodgers my whole life. I know this world pretty well. Don't know the Rams well, but what I do know is it can be it's a loyal fan base, but I would go as far as saying, Ryan, if the Chargers signed Cam and they started winning, with the way the Rams are at the moment, which I don't know what they are yet. I don't know if they're 9-7 or are they 11-5. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They could win the town over with Cam Newton. With Tyrod Taylor, there's no buzz.
Yeah.
You going in and this offseason in particular, where you have a new stadium you got to fill. They didn't even, they didn't even fill a soccer stadium last year. And then the year prior when they were 12-4, I mean, come on, the disrespect, it's so upsetting.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to peel back the layers a little bit from that because I have not been on the Cam train coming to LA, but I'm starting to warm up to it a little bit.
Do you see how it's good business though?
Oh, yes, I've always understood that.
Even if it's a bluff at the poker table, even if he is hurt, I don't think he is. Schefter just tweeted out. Even I said all that before I knew he was medically cleared. Now I know they can't do the team physicals and all that because
but he has been cleared.
But he has been cleared.
Yeah.
According to Schefter.
Yeah.
And that to me says good. Gracious.
So here's the biggest thing, and here's my biggest thing I should say, and I'll see what you say to this. So I'm warming up to the idea of Cam, but on one condition. If you bring in Cam Newton, and I'll kind of break it down slowly a little bit. If you bring in Cam Newton, in my opinion, you need to commit to him, maybe not 10 years, but at least a 4 to 6 year contract where you're saying you're the guy, you're going to be the face of this franchise for the immediate future. I don't think you can bring him in on a 2-year deal and then, think of drafting a guy either this year or next year where there's going to be that QB competition where who knows what the cap situation will even look like. He's going to be looking over his shoulder. To me, bringing Cam Newton is saying, LA, this is our quarterback. This is the face of the Chargers. We want you to get on board, follow the hype train. Because if you just bring him in as a rental, LA is not going to buy that either. They're going to say, wow, you brought in a guy just to sell seats for a year, and then now you're going to ship him off, and we're going to have to find a new quarterback. We're going to buy new jerseys.
You think LA fans will see right through a 2-year deal?
100%. 100%. Because here's what they're trying to – this is what I think the Chargers are trying to do in LA. It seems, I know, maniacal, especially from a San Diego fan, but to build a true fan base in LA, you have to slow play it. You have to obviously win.
Sure.
But you also have to put together players and pieces, because this is a new team. This is not the Lakers that can have 3 bad years. LeBron comes over and they're the talk of the town again. This is a team that is still trying to find their identity. So you don't want a player that's your identity and in 2 years he's dissipated and gone. You want a player that, whether they draft a quarterback, trade up for Tua, do something like that, where this is your guy for 10 to 15 years that you're building this foundation on, that kids in middle school right now are buying jerseys. Kids in high school are like, okay, I can look up to this as a quarterback. If you bring in Cam for a year or two, then they're just starting back in square one in 2 years. If they bring him in, though, and say...
But this is why he's a free agent, because no one wants to sign him for 4 years. I don't think you can sign him for 4 years. I don't even think you should. I like the thought. I just think they clearly are looking at someone in the draft, and Vegas says it's Herbert, and that to me, okay, that's cool, but they're not going to the Super Bowl, they're not going to the playoffs, they're blowing a ready now, win now roster, and they're not signing anybody else. But I just think Cam, you almost could say, Ryan, if you sign him for a shorter deal, is he on his best behavior? Is he the best leader of men he could be? Is he going to maybe take care of his body and not take as many hits as he took some? One thing we do know about inside the locker room, he plays for he puts his body on the line. We have heard
100%.
that from teammates. He's committed to the team in that regard, and he may look like a diva, but that says some true colors there. I just think that's a bad in a salary cap league. I don't know if you could sign him 4 years, but I still want him there.
Yeah, so you're cool with him 1 to 2 year deal, and then not drafting a QB this year.
It's like a reverse psychology. It's like do you want get on my Colin Cowherd here? Do you want the girl to know you're already going to marry her right away? Or can we just organically feel this out, make sure it's a fit? It's, we're just feeling each other out. Like Cam could actually maybe not work.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with him for 4 years. But if you sign for a 2-year deal, 2 year 35, 2 year 30, whatever. I mean, geez, no one wanted him for 19.1.
Yeah.
Why can't you get him for 2 years, 27 or something? Pennies on the dollar for NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Days.
No, so from a football perspective, that I agree with too. I think we're kind of in agreement in a circular linear way.
I mean, we don't have to get our Telesco on. I do like the thought though, because you're saying, which is good, I suppose. I guess it means the Chargers are here to stay in LA, but they're building a culture that they want, a new Rivers. They're not a sample quarterback kind of team. They roll with someone for a while. You're right.
And that's kind of, you made a beautiful analogy there with the marriage thing, and why do we have to get married right away? But then when you look at the big picture as a team, they do want to get married to LA right away. This is not a dating time period for the Chargers in LA. They are here to get married, and they need to get married quickly to kind of stop what's going on in the media and the bleeding. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Do you think ultimately he comes here, or no? You think they're rolling with Tyrod in the draft?
I'm still crossing my fingers. I saw Derwin post some eye emoji
on
his Instagram. I mean, dude, I don't know why. I mean, Trey Turner maybe could step up and speak up here as a former teammate. I mean, I hope he comes, Ryan. I mean, look, is it not win-win if you sign him and you get Herbert?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Easton Stick's the odd man out there, and probably Tyrod Taylor because he's making $7 million as a backup. So I don't know if they'd want three quarterbacks making over $7 million. But you could write it out for a little bit. It probably won't
happen. You're right. It's leaning towards they're not signing him and they're going with a new guy and they're keeping Tyrod, and that just Spanos he doesn't understand. He just doesn't get it. He must not get it.
So I saw.
I honestly, they're not selling tickets. They're good. If the Jags were good and they weren't selling out, it would be head. It's the only team in the league you could argue that's good and doesn't fill out an NFL stadium.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. They didn't really fill out in San Diego either.
A little, dude. A little. We get so much.
You want me to twist the knife a little bit?
Weather. Now you're poking me in my arm.
I went to plenty Charger games in San Diego, and they were a lot of orange and blue out there.
It's orange crush when the Broncos are in town. I'm not gonna lie, it's horrible.
So
I saw red when the Chiefs are there, and it's a Raiders home game in there.
It's not getting. That's why I think they need to find their new identity.
Hindsight's 20/20, but what would have been interesting is because we know that they practice in Costa Mesa. If they would have just done the little subtle what the Angels did,
100%.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, let them be halfway between LA and San Diego, you might get the best of both worlds and it works out. San Diego doesn't like LA. That's the problem because of the Dodgers.
Yeah. No, I thought all along if they made them their home base, Orange County, and they made their state, they didn't even join the Rams stadium, they did their own thing, it would have been way better, but we're past that. So
what do you want to see? What do you want to see happen with the Chargers at the quarterback position? Whether it's Cam or not.
So I saw a mock draft today. NFL.com, and mock drafts are freaking pointless, but they're fun to look at, especially in times right now when there's not a lot going on. But I saw one today that actually it intrigued me, and they at 6 took Mekhi Becton, the Louisville tackle, who's just a mauler. Yeah. And then they traded back into the first. I think it was the Patriots' 23rd overall pick, and took Jordan Love, who I'm not huge on Jordan Love, but getting him later in the first and you're able to pair him with a tackle at 6, I don't hate it. And he would fit in Lynn's scheme real well. I
I
kind of
don't
was
hate
intrigued.
that. I like that a lot more than Herbert at 6.
Yeah, I liked it a lot because they get their tackle, the future that they need. You still have Trey Pipkins on the roster. They got
I,
obviously Beluga.
oh man, they got
Interesting.
a solid offensive lineup. They go out and they get that tackle out of Louisville. Do you think there's a world where they trade up for Tua?
I think there's a world, definitely.
Because I'm hearing a little bit. I don't have a ton of inside sources. I'm hearing a little, in the rumor mill. I'm hearing maybe Telesco wants him, but
So it's very unlike Telesco to really do anything in the draft. He basically the picks he has. I mean, as a fan, he's going to draft
of course.
exactly the order that he has. But he's already shown this offseason to do a little thing. I mean, doing two trades before the free agency period even opened. Signing
Your boy
Chris Harris was a killer
Oh,
signing for this team, pairing him with Casey Hayward, Desmond King, all those other guys. Getting a big tackle. So I think he's already shown a little bit that he's learning to adapt a little bit out of his comfort zone. And so why not trade up to 3? But the question is Miami willing to trade out? I mean, they'd be kind of silly in their situation to trade back unless they like a guy like Herbert or a guy like Jordan Love they can get later. So that's what it
I
comes
don't.
down
We're not
to.
hearing that out of Miami though. No one's talking Herbert or Love to Miami, right? It's just Burrow and Tua and what order they're going to go
I,
in
I've
the
heard
Bengals.
there's
So,
I've heard there's interest in Herbert, surprisingly. So if
really?
they think they can get back to 6 and Herbert would still be there, and Washington doesn't surprise people and take a quarterback or something like that, who knows? But I think
And then go ahead, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say I think if the Chargers got a guy like Tua, which I need to watch more film on him, but I mean maybe you can. I think that'd be an exciting move to fill the seats.
That's it. That's exciting. I'm okay with that. I think that's great. If you're not going to sign Cam, get Tua. That is phenomenal. That's the best thing you could pretty much do outside of signing a veteran that's polarized.
Well, there you
in
go.
my opinion.
Well, I'll get you out on this Alex Monaco Sports Radio Recap podcast here on the Believe Podcast Network. Thanks for joining me. So out on this perfect world. Here we are in March. The draft is literally almost exactly a month away, a little less than a month. What do you want to see the Chargers do from now till then? Is it signing quarterback like you said? Is it trading up like that? What's your perfect scenario for this team? Come May.
Not to keep repeating it, but it's sign Cam.
Cool.
It's sign Cam, undoubtedly, and I would say go out and you get that tackle. If you can sign Cam and get how many? What is there? 6? Kuiper has what? Maybe 6 upside 8 offensive linemen going in the first round.
A lot of great offensive linemen.
I mean, geez, you add on with Balaga, Pouncey, and Turner. Goodness gracious! So perfect utopia. You sign Cam,
and then just go from there.
I'm almost gonna change my mind now. I'm actually gonna change my mind. You sign Cam, and you trade back. You do what you said could happen, and you take Jay Love, and you keep Jordan Love, and you have Jordan Love study under Cam, as opposed to Herbert. That would be phenomenal.
Which would make sense too, because I think Love does need more time to acclimate to the NFL coming out of Utah State, as opposed to other guys they'd want to see going right away. So that can make sense.
What say you? I want to hear your thought.
I mean, today I didn't really thought about that, but I literally like the move today of taking a tackle or a lineman at 6, and then trading back in and getting Love late. I know a lot of people are hating on Herbert. I don't hate Herbert. I don't love him. I'm not saying I love him, but I would be okay with him. He's definitely not your polarizing. He's a quiet guy. Bring the lunch pail to work and just kind of go about his business. But I'm also kind of into the whole trade up for Tua. Make a splash. Why not?
Let's go.
Make a splash.
You either sign Cam and trade back and get Jordan,
yep,
or you trade up, you get Tua, and you do something to put your name in the hat to get some buzz, Ryan.
There you go.
Gee.
There you go. You heard it here first. So, all right, brother. Well, thanks, man. This is fun.
Hey, Ryan, I had a blast, man. We'll have to do it again, depending on how many more weeks we're
we might be doing this every night. Who knows?
Well, dude, had a blast, man.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate you. All right, stay safe out there. We'll talk soon.
All right.